Welcome students. My name is Abby Trout. I'm the Curriculum Coordinator in CLA Career Services. I'm very excited today to chat with our employer partner, Jenny Davis. Jenny, to start us off, will you introduce yourself, your role, maybe what a day in the life looks like, and then also the organization that you work for?
Happily, yes. I'm Jenny Davis. I'm a proud U of M grad, class of 2007. I am a strategic communications major with a Spanish minor. So I was in the journalism school. Dream job was doing PR for the Green Bay Packers. So whether that makes you like me or hate me, I don't know. I now am in a very different path than doing PR for the Green Bay Packers, but a happy one nonetheless. So I'm a senior director at Russell Tobin, which is a recruiting agency with global capabilities. So I get to work with team members across the globe in various countries, time zones, positions. And we recruit professionals for clients ranging from small local companies to very large multinational Fortune 100. Recruiting positions ranging from customer service and administrative to high-level technical and engineering roles. I oversee our Midwest operations, so offices throughout the Midwest, managing a team of roughly 50 people. Across those states and across the globe. So very happy to be here.
Thank you, Jenny.
Yeah.
So my first question is, what tips do you have for students applying for roles in this virtual environment that we all find ourselves in?
Yeah, that's a great question. Finding a way to stand out right now is important. And I will actually use an example of a U of M student who happened to participate in an event that I was in and speaking on a panel for. She had really eloquent follow-up, so I told the students that if they had questions after my presentation, I would happily address them. She quickly followed up. I don't know that it was within hours, but it was within 24, that's for sure, saying what she appreciated about the conversation and shared a question with me along with her resume. She reached out directly via email and also via LinkedIn. And the timing was a little strange, right? We were midst COVID. Our firm didn't know exactly the direction we were going to go with internal hiring, but she shared she was interested in what she was looking for and ways that I could potentially help her. So she was very clear in what she wanted and what she needed help with, and I was there to help. So she did that initial outreach and stayed engaged, and then she engaged with us on LinkedIn, which was the most activity I've ever seen out of a job seeker with us by engaging with our brand. She was liking my posts on LinkedIn. She was liking our firm's activity on LinkedIn. She followed our firm, all things that were very visible to me and clearly showed interest and passion about what we were doing in our brand. And she followed up with a level of consistency that I really appreciated. Know that it is okay to be passionate in your interest in a company. So sometimes quality over quantity matters. So if you're just applying to 100 jobs a day, that might not make it happen right now, where maybe if you apply to 5, but really apply yourself to those 5 by learning about the company, connecting with potential managers or alumni on LinkedIn, that's a quality application process versus just hoping that by sending 100 emails, something will come back. So that'd be my suggestion in the story that I share. It is dig deep, try to engage more than just throwing it out into the universe. It's a little more work, but I think it'll return. Even if it's not with a job, you'll have new connections.
Such good points. I love that, quality over quantity. We hear so often students want to know, well, how long is it going to take me to get a job? How much effort am I going to have to put into each application? And hearing you say that it's not about spreading that net so wide, but more so about really doing your best on opportunities that you do pursue, that makes a difference and that is seen and appreciated. So thank you. My next question is, what is your advice for how to stand out when applying, especially in this COVID-19 environment? Again, maybe some of the points you just talked about, but anything else you would add or anything different you would add?
Yeah, I think, now is a strange time for everyone. And one thing I'll just share anecdotally, this is new for all of us. It's new for employers, it's new for recruiters, it's new for HR. So we understand that we're all in this uncharted water together. And so everything is going to pivot a little bit from what we're used to. And that's okay. So get comfortable with that, and also know that things might take more time right now. Overarchingly, the time span and decision-making process has just extended a bit. But what I'll share with you is it feels more busy and normal now than it has in the recent 6 months that I've been doing this. And frankly, it's busier than it has been in some historical times for my career. And know that in my career, what I do is employ people actively every day. So it is a good time to be looking. People will hire. So be patient with yourself and the process, because this is in terms of standing out, I have somewhat controversial theories on cover letters and all of those things. I'm not a big cover letter fan. It doesn't mean you shouldn't and can't do them. Sometimes it will land on the right person in the right way and be really relevant. But again, for me, it's really about making sure that things that could connect you to that job are viable and visible on your resume. So much of recruiting is a game of keywords. And I know that sounds not personal and not kind, but it's really quite honest. When a recruiter or an HR professional goes on a job board or goes on LinkedIn, they search keywords. So if you're applying for a marketing position that requires an Adobe suite as a part of the position because you're going to work on web content, you need to ensure that Adobe and web and content and marketing are all over your resume. So the more times you can include those words, the more likely it is that a recruiter or a hiring manager will find you. So I would just encourage you to look for words in job descriptions you like and ensure those words are mirrored on your resume to the best of your ability. So you don't want to put anything that's not true, right? But ensure that it's in there more than once, not just, oh yeah, I've done that, but it's only once or it was only in a class. Give people reasons to find you. Give them reasons to find you. So that's the standout for me.
Yes, those keywords. And another way I think about that too is even just thinking about perspective. You know, if a job seeker is trying to showcase to an employer that they have these skills that the employer would be looking for, they need to be speaking about their experience in a way that the employer is hearing what it is that they need, is catching all those good strengths that that applicant has. Because if we're not speaking a similar language, the employer may not pick up on all the goodness that the applicant is bringing. So
absolutely,
I love to hear that about keywords.
Yeah, and I would say with the keywords piece too is oftentimes the first person who sees your resume doesn't know what you do for a living. They're a recruiter or an HR professional, so they might not understand what a web content manager does all day. They might not understand what an SEO analyst is, or they might not understand what a communications major really does every day. So by hearing that on your resume and seeing it visually, they can learn. So make it as descriptive as you can. I'm not a big fan of the one-pager. Include as much as you can about your experiences because you want to give people a reason to find you. Give them a reason to find you.
Love that. Thank you. How has your organization adapted to the pandemic? You spoke earlier about recruiting timelines might be extending. Other ways that it's adapted or changed due to the pandemic?
The pandemic has changed our perspective a little. I think recruiting was already changing to become a virtual industry. It really was. The days of meeting every candidate in person before you worked with them was sort of going away. We were a global and national firm before this. So our process in regards to recruiting hasn't altered as much. What has is the engagement and the process of recruiting. So understanding what a candidate's looking for has changed. So you, as a job seeker, need to also understand the confines have shifted. No longer do you only have to apply to jobs in your backyard. I mean, that's new. Before it was if you accepted a job at XYZ company, you were showing up to XYZ company on your first day. And now that's possible. And it's also possible that you might not show up to sit next to a coworker for the first 12 months that you start. So knowing what a company's process or current policy is as it relates to that, and then also understanding your intent. So are you interested in going into an office? Are you interested in only being remote? Knowing what you feel comfortable with right now does matter. And talking to the hiring teams and recruiters about that will only help your process, because it's changed. The landscape to that has changed. So part of our conversations with all job seekers now is, are you only looking for remote? Are you willing to be in an office? What would that look like for you? So knowing that about yourself, that's a question that's new for us. So that's something that's shifted in our process for candidates. Internally, we are back in the office. So for our firm, we felt that our culture was important enough that being next to each other was part of our day, and we needed to do that. So again, every firm, every company is looking at things differently, and your ability to be somewhat flexible in regards to, we aren't sure when, and ... because that's a lot of what's happening right now, is no one really knows the finite timelines of things. And then also being flexible with what it means to be onboarded and trained and engaging in a new way. So if you know, you're going to have to put yourself out there a little bit more assertively when you're on a new, you know, team, setting up calls in a different way. And again, just it is a little bit more assertive in how you are going to join a team. You know, it's not as easy as just showing up and everyone takes you out to lunch on your first day. So you have to understand that. And again, though, it's different for everyone. So you aren't walking into an environment where everyone else understands what this is like. No one does.
That adaptability, it's always been important, and now it has a new context in which to be important. And I love that note too that you said too about it's different for everyone. So, you know, the first day on the job, whether that's via the screen or, you know, physically in an office, is different for everyone. And so it's new to the new person, but it's also new to all of that person's new colleagues. And so everyone being adaptable, being willing, like you said, to put yourself out there to create something new, is a new journey for all of us.
It is.
That's great. And you already answered my next question too about changes in just the recruiting processes and recruiting in virtual environments in general. So thank you for that.
You bet.
And then my couple more questions. Chiefly, are you open to students contacting you? And if so, how could they best reach out to you?
Of course, I would be happy to connect with any current students and alumni. Connecting with me on LinkedIn is ideal, and understanding kind of what you would like from me. So whether it's a conversation or if you're a job seeker looking for a specific opportunity, and know that it's possible I might connect you with someone else. That isn't I don't care or I don't have time, it's that someone else is going to be a better resource for you than me. So that might not always be the case, but it often is, that you're going to be better served by connecting with someone on my team who's closer to the skill set that you have, who is closer to the day-to-day recruiting efforts now. So just know that that's not a brush off or a push off. It's hello, nice to meet you, and here's your best friend. This is the person who will best suit you as a resource. So I am more than happy, and also know that if it's 1 day or 2 days, that's probably a fair timeline for me to get back to you. And I would say that that's a pretty universal response time for someone in a professional seat. So if you don't get a response within a day or two, don't feel bad following up. That's okay. It really is. It's not seen as rude. It's not seen as pushy. Sometimes we all need reminders, but I would say give it 48 to 72 hours before following up a second time.
Great, thank you. And I, of course, always love hearing about, you know, networking is not just I'm reaching out to you, it's I'm reaching out to you, and that is networking with you and your network. So what a gift to, be able to reach out to someone and them to assess what's needed and who they know, and then to further connect the person. So that's
Absolutely.
awesome. And two more questions. Does your organization currently have opportunities available, either entry-level, full-time internship, or otherwise?
Yes. So our firm would have opportunities both internally, but also with all of our clients. So again, the recruiting agency, if it's new to anyone, our job is to help our end client find candidates. So we're placing candidates either in full-time or what are called contract positions. So we always have jobs open. So I would encourage you to connect with me if interested in talking with me, and then also explore our website. All of our jobs would be posted there, and then you would connect with a recruiter to discuss the end client. So you will know where you're working. It's not like we don't tell you that. So our clients, we would have a conversation with you about each position. But if you see something of interest on our website, apply, and then feel free to contact me saying you did so. And again, if it's not the right role right now, it's great to still have a conversation with you about what it is you're looking for. So we're happy to talk to anyone at any point in their career journey, even if it's I'm graduating in 6 months or I'll be looking in 2. It's always good to know because we can keep you in mind. That's a recruiter's job, is candidate memory. So never hesitate to reach out, even if it feels too early in the process. And we could always say, great to know. We'll plan to talk to you again in October or in December, right? So that is part of the journey too. And again, never, to your earlier point, Abby, it's great to make connections, always. So I remember when I was sitting in the graduating seat, so many people were saying, reach out to your network, make connections, family, church, all these things. And I was sitting there going, really have a lot of connections. My family's not from here. My dad's a blue collar guy. He doesn't know people in my industry. And that was a really daunting feat for me until I realized that I had friends who had dads, who had networks, who had people locally. I had career counselors. I had professors. So when I stopped seeing my network as this big daunting professional thing I had to take on, and more just talking to people about what I wanted to do and trying to engage with the resources I already had with people who already liked me and who I already trusted, it made that whole thing feel a lot easier for me. So I got my first internship really randomly through a friend's brother. And it was a friend who I had a class with and went to social outings with. And that's how I got my first internship. So just talking about what you want to do and where you want to do it with people that you might only know casually can be a great networking opportunity too. So don't look past that and think like it's something you have to commit to every day. Sometimes opportunity comes from those you already know.
Yes, absolutely. And lastly, any further words of advice or encouragement for students this fall?
My big piece always for students is to be patient with yourself and recognize that it doesn't have to be perfect. So if I think about my core friend group, all U of M grads who I lived with for 4 years and graduated with and went through this journey with, some of us, we had a job the minute we hit the graduation stage. We had an internship that led up to it. We were type A, we were prepared, we were ready, we knew where we were gonna work. And I had other friends who it was a struggle. And fast forward a long time later, 15 years plus, we're all happy. We're all gainfully employed. We all have careers, all of us, every single one. And if I look at my core friend group, are we all doing exactly what we thought we would do with our degree? Nope. No. And the people I work with who are 3, 4, 5 years from graduation, they're recruiting. I have an architecture major. I have a geology major. I have comms majors. I have engineering majors who are recruiting. I have worked with an individual who has his law degree and came here and recruited lawyers and attorneys. So there's so many ways your degree can take you. And though liberal arts, we often get that little like, well, what are you going to do with that degree? So many things, so many things. But you just can't over define what it is you are needing and wanting, and let yourself be open to possibilities. I didn't know anything about recruiting, and now it's my life's passion. So here I sit, journalism grad, found recruiting, and forever going to be in it in some fashion or form. So be patient, be adaptable, and give yourself grace, and never turn away an opportunity to get to know someone new.
Yes, thank you. Perfectly said. Thank you so much, Jenny, for your time. And thank you everyone for watching.
Thank you.